This week in math, we're going to be talking about variables. Now, variables in math are going to be different than the variables we already know about in science, but they are similar. So we know in a science experiment, a variable is something that changes. Either I'm changing it, if it's the independent variable, or it's changing as the result of the experiment as the dependent variable. In the same way, in math, a variable is a number that changes. So, a variable can be a letter, a symbol, or a picture that represents an unknown number. So it could be anything. It could be a circle, it could be the letter B, it could be a flower, and it's representing a number that I don't know, and the number can change. So for example, right here I have this numerical expression that says triangle plus 3. So my variable is my symbol, my triangle. This is my variable because it could be any number. For example, it could be 3, it could be 0, it could be 5,237,000. I don't know what it is, I just know that it represents an unknown number. So when are you going to need to use variables? Well, let's think about it this way. When I pack for a trip, I always pack 2 more shirts than the days traveling. Well, if I go on a weekend trip, I might only be gone for 2 days, but if I go to visit my sister in the summer, I might be gone for 2 weeks. So it's going to depend, my number of days that I'm traveling is going to change. So how can I write this as a sentence? So I'm going to choose a letter, a number, or a symbol. I'm going to use T for traveling. And I know that I'm always going to pack 2 more. The more tells me that I'm doing what? Multiplying, adding, subtracting, or dividing. It's more, it doesn't say times more, so I'm going to be adding. So it's plus, and it's always 2 more than that. So if I go for 2 days, the T might be 2 plus 2, so I'm going to pack 4 shirts. If I'm going for 2 weeks, 14 days plus 2, I'd pack 16 shirts. So my T is my variable. It's going to change depending on when I'm going and for how long I'm going. So now what we're going to do is practice writing the numerical expression to fit this number sentence. So I need to focus on the numbers and the variables and then the words that tell me what operation I'm going to be doing. So this says 5 more than R equals, my variable in this expression is R, and I need to have 5 more than R. So 5 more than, I'm going to be adding R. I could also write this as R plus 5, because again, that's R, and then there's 5 more. The next one says 3 less than Y. Y is my variable, and I need 3 less than Y. So don't be fooled into thinking I'm going to say 3 less than Y. That's not correct. That says 3 minus Y, or Y less than 3. So make sure we've got Y, and then I'm going to be 3 less than that. 6 fewer than W, similar to number 2. W is my variable. Fewer than means I'm going to be subtracting, but I'm subtracting 6 from my variable W. Number 4 says 4 times B. B is my variable. Now there's several ways that we can write this because there's several ways to express multiplication. We can say 4 times B, but this looks confusing because this X, I know this is times because I wrote it, but that could be a variable. It's not a great variable to use for that reason, but that can be confusing. So I can write 4 times B, or I also know this circle represents multiplication, so that is also an option. Or I can say 4 parentheses B. These are all ways that I can express 4 times B. But when you're using variables, you most likely won't see the X to represent multiplication because it can be confusing. So you'll see it as this, or simply 4B, because implied between those two is multiplication. Last one's 25 divided by Z. So in this is my variable. So now I need to think, okay, which one of these is my numerator and which one is my denominator? Which one is my dividend and which one is my divisor? So if it's divided by z, that means that z is going to be the divisor. So 25 divided by b. Or I know that fractions are multiplication as well, so I could say 25 over b. Either of those would be great.